11 News starts with breaking news.
Yes, breaking at noon. Here you are witnessing history. In just the last hour, the woman you see here giving us the thumbs up was the first person in our area to get a COVID-19 vaccine shot and, in fact, was the first person in the state of Pennsylvania to get it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Peggy Finnegan. So it is a historic day for our nation and region as millions of vaccine doses begin arriving at hospitals. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond joins us live from UPMC Children's Hospital. And Alyssa, this is a big step. It is an early step. What's happening right now?
A really big step. So Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is being administered right now to healthcare workers here in Pittsburgh. The first 5 UPMC employees, really the heroes at work to be vaccinated, happened just about an hour ago right here at Children's Hospital. UPMC streamed the monumental moment online. In case you missed it, here's another look here. Here's what one of the healthcare workers who received the vaccine had to say.
I am getting this vaccine so that I can further protect myself and pretty much everyone around me, really. I find that sometimes, in most cases, 6 feet and isn't just enough. Sometimes we need to get close to other people to give them care or whatever is required. Hugs from our loved ones or, care to our patients.
Can't wait for the hugs, right? This UPS truck carrying nearly 1,000 doses pulled into Children's Hospital around 9 this morning. Other UPMC facilities are expecting to receive doses in the next week or two. So over the next several weeks, UPMC will be administering these vaccines to their healthcare workers. And they're thinking, the hope is to get all of their employees who would like to have a vaccine vaccinated by the end of January. Also, it's important to reference that all of these employees who just got vaccinated or will be vaccinated over the next several weeks will have to come back in 21 days to get the second round of the shot. Reporting live from outside of UPMC Children's Hospital, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
Alyssa, very exciting news. Thank you. Of course, we are just one of hundreds of cities getting the first doses of the vaccine. NBC's Jay Gray reports from Chicago about what's being done across the country to pull off the largest vaccination effort in U.S. history.
A frontline worker in New York, the first to get the shot there, the beginning of a massive vaccination effort across the country. The main lobby at Rush University Hospital is now a vaccination center.
We can vaccinate anywhere from 1,000 to flex up to vaccinate even 1,500 or more healthcare workers in those large-scale vaccination days.
An inoculation assembly line of sorts beginning this week with medical teams and continuing for months here. As in phases, the medicine is eventually available for everyone.
Late February, in the March time period, I think you'll start seeing much more like a flu vaccination campaign, people going into their Kroger, their CVS, their Walgreens, Walmart.
With approval of a second vaccine manufactured by Moderna possible by the end of this week, and likely 2 more medicines after the first of the year, as many as 100 million doses could be administered by the end of March.
We're starting down the getting everyone vaccinated pathway and hopefully seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for the COVID pandemic.
A light that's much brighter now because of this new powerful weapon in the ongoing fight against the virus. Jay Gray, NBC News, Chicago.
And also breaking at noon in the last half hour, Pennsylvania's Health Secretary Dr. Rachel Levine gave an update on the pandemic and called the vaccine's arrival tremendously exciting. But she cautioned the state still has a long way to go until it is widely available, and the current cases, she says, are concerning.
Every single county in the Commonwealth now has a percent positivity above the level of 5%. 2 counties, Bedford and Crawford, have percent positivities above 30%. And 15 counties now have a percent positivity above 20%.
In the last 48 hours, Allegheny County reported 1,600 new cases. Those cases came from 5,100 tests. Most of those positive tests were taken in the last week. The new cases range in age from 2 weeks to 100 years with a median age of 45 years. And there were 5 deaths reported. New at noon, some parents in one of the area's biggest school districts are fed up. The group held a rally this morning. They say North Allegheny school leaders are not listening to them. Channel 11's Serafina James spoke with parents about their concerns.
A group of North Allegheny parents are protesting the school's latest COVID plan. The district's new mitigation efforts go into effect today, where they'll begin district-wide remote learning until January 18th. In-person learning will resume January 19th. The group of about 30 North Allegheny parents for in-person education, you can hear them chanting. They're upset with the district's decision, saying their children are falling behind and the district isn't meeting Pennsylvania Department of Education guidelines. The group began at North Allegheny Intermediate School and then went to the district's administrative building, where their signs and their demands, including that the district begin full in-person learning on January 4th. They also say if they have to be remote, they demand that the district's teachers teach from their classrooms. And on Friday, Pennsylvania's acting education secretary stated that he recognizes there are disparities among schools and students when it comes to virtual learning, but there is a no one-size-fits-all approach. Therefore, it's ultimately the choice of individual districts if they'll shift to online instruction.
They're not in school because the school board and the district is saying this is because of COVID-19 and because of the virus. Our children are at very low risk for this virus. The science says it. Doctors, nurses, they all say it, that these children should be in school.
Later tonight, I'll introduce you to some of these parents who say a lot of the district students are now falling behind, and I'll tell you about more of their demands. For now, in McCandless, Serafina James, Channel 11 News.
A live look at the Capitol now. A new COVID relief bill could be presented as soon as today. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer believes a bill should pass before Congress goes home for Christmas. Lawmakers in both the Senate and the House were negotiating a number of possible deals last week, but no compromise has been reached. A big focus is going to be trying to help people whose unemployment ends December 31st. Governor Tom Wolf is renewing his call for Congress to pass a COVID relief bill. Speaking this morning, he said the aid is needed now more than ever with the surge in cases and increased restrictions.
It's going to be months before we get to the point where enough people have been vaccinated that makes a big difference in the economy. And how we deal with this bridge, how we deal with this first quarter really, is going to determine how fast we bounce back economically.
In addition to unemployment benefits, states are looking for more money for education, broadband, and other needs. Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Danielle Dozier joins us, and it was cloudy and cold. Some morning snow showers, too. You've got to look at the rest of the afternoon for us, Danielle.
Peggy, that's right. We had some snow out there this morning, some spots even having a little bit of wintry mix. And what we have out there right now is a cloudy sky and a dry sky for many of us as our weather system departs the area. That's what you're looking at on our storm tracker Doppler 11 radar. There could be a few lingering light snow showers along the I-80 corridor today, but really it's going to be about the cold weather. The high temperatures are only going to be in the 30s. Right now we're in the 30s still, and we're also going to have a bit of a breeze, so it'll feel even colder. Over the next few hours, the temperature about 37 degrees later on today, and we are going to be looking at a really cold night tonight, one of the coldest we've had in a while. We'll take a look at your Tuesday morning forecast, and I've got my eye on a storm system that's going to be bringing some accumulating snow to our area on Wednesday. You don't want to miss my forecast. Coming up in just a few minutes.
Now in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania's electors are coming together on the House floor to cast their ballots in Decision 2020. President-elect Joe Biden is expected to get the Commonwealth's 20 votes. Those votes will be sent to Congress to be read into the official record on January 6th. Channel 11's Samantha Manning joins us from our Washington, D.C. News Bureau with details on the process and what happens next.
There's a lot more attention on the Electoral College vote this year compared to previous years. It's normally a constitutional ritual, but it holds new weight this year because President Trump is still contesting the results. Electors in 4 states in Eastern time zones kicked off the vote this morning. Electors from all 50 states and Washington, D.C. will cast their ballots in their own states to confirm the results of the election. You might be asking, why is this happening today? Well, the law says that electors meet on the first Monday after the second Wednesday in December. The purpose is so that states have enough time after Election Day to settle disputes over results. And of course, this year, we've seen recounts and lawsuits in key battleground states. President-elect Biden is expected to get 306 electoral votes confirmed. That's the same number President Trump won in 2016. Now, despite today's vote, President Trump has said his fight is still not over. But once Congress confirms the Electoral College vote on January 6th, his legal battles will likely be out of steam. In Washington, Samantha Manning, Channel 11 News.
Developing at noon, the U.S. Commerce Department and others have been the victims of a data breach. Homeland Security says multiple agencies were affected, and it's trying to minimize the damage. Sources tell the Washington Post Russian government hackers are responsible. They say the attack also includes the U.S. Treasury Department. The FBI and Homeland Security are now investigating. Major League Baseball's Cleveland Indians have decided to change their name. That's according to numerous published reports. They will be the latest sports team to move away from using Native American names and images. An official announcement could come as soon as this week. Last year, the team phased out its mascot from their hats and jerseys. The executive director of the Cleveland American Indian Movement says he's skeptical.
I want to be hopeful. I am hopeful, but I'll believe it when I see it.
It's been the Indians since 1915. They follow the Washington football team, which is planning to choose a new name for next season. Kicked off why a family says the airline overreacted to their toddler's behavior. And the added stress local healthcare workers are dealing with as the number of COVID cases rise. Local ambulance services say that they are getting flooded with COVID calls. Last Saturday, Mutual Aid told our partners at the Trib they fielded 55 calls for COVID patients. They had been averaging 22 a day. Last Thursday morning, they transported 11 people with coronavirus concerns in just 6 hours. And it's only getting worse. Allegheny County Emergency Services says in September, 37% of calls were virus related. In November, it jumped to nearly 68%. And as we finally start to get a COVID vaccine, local hospitals say they are seeing a surge in COVID patients. Channel 11's Lori Hoy has more on the alarming trend.
If they don't take it seriously, it will be much worse.
Dr. Amish Adalja is on staff at several hospitals in the Pittsburgh area and spoke with me after an overnight shift.
We are all at heightened alert because there is a surge going on in this area and it will impact every one of our hospitals.
Right now, Dr. Adalja told me this is the highest number of COVID cases and hospitalizations reported since the beginning of the coronavirus crisis.
This is a serious infectious disease emergency, the biggest one we faced since the 1918 flu pandemic.
For healthcare workers, it's been exhausting.
It's definitely difficult. It's an increased stress level. You're always worried about making sure you're doing the right thing and that you have the time to give these patients.
State officials have issued warnings that hospitals are becoming overrun and staff shortages could mean fewer beds available to treat patients. Last week at Excella Health System's 3 hospitals, 40% of patients were admitted because of the virus.
As these smaller hospitals, these suburban hospitals, rural hospitals, they're going to be hit hard because they have a lot of cases and not a lot of resources. And they're going to sort of be the canaries in the coal mine. That's where we're going to see hospitals get in trouble first.
With the number of COVID deaths climbing, healthcare workers are concerned that people aren't doing enough to limit the day-to-day spread of COVID-19. That would reduce the number of people being hospitalized.
If you're not wearing a mask, then you should not be around people in general, because you may be someone that's putting others at risk. You may be infected, and you don't have the right to infect other people or put other people at risk.
Lori Hoy, Channel 11 News.
Flu cases are lower than normal this year, and the CDC says it is because of COVID. And they say masks and social distancing are helping with the flu. Last week, just 2% of doctor visits were linked to the flu, and for the first time in recent memory, no state is reporting high flu activity this month. Flu season usually peaks in late December and early January. Health officials still recommend, though, that you get the flu shot. The clock is ticking for Americans looking to sign up for the Affordable Care Act. Open enrollment in 36 states, including Pennsylvania, for healthcare.gov ends tomorrow if you want more coverage beginning January 1st. According to federal data, nearly 4 million chose Obamacare plans as of December 5th. This enrollment takes place as the Supreme Court is considering the fate of the health reform law. The Trump administration and a group of Republican state attorneys want to invalidate the Affordable Care Act. They say the individual mandate is unconstitutional, and a decision on that is expected in the spring. A reminder about why it's so important to clear snow and ice off your car. A driver was seriously hurt after a sheet of ice flew off a box truck and smashed right through the car's windshield. It happened in New Hampshire. The driver suffered severe cuts to the face. Police say the box driver will likely face a ticket for not clearing the snow and ice from his truck.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Good afternoon. It is a gloomy day once again out there. You're looking at our visible satellite showing us all the clouds that are moving across the region. It's cold as well. You can see our forecast wind chills this afternoon in the upper 20s and low 30s. I am expecting those winds to continue to increase throughout the day, where they could be sustained as high as 15 to 20 miles per hour with occasional gusts to 25, which will make it feel colder, so dress warmly. Hey, the snow and a little bit of rain we had out there in spots earlier this morning is clearing out of the area. Look how fast it moved. I told you last night on Channel 11 News that it was going to be a quick moving system and that it really wasn't going to bring a whole lot of snow to the area. I've got my eye on yet another weather system, though, that will be impacting our region on Wednesday. I'm taking you out to the west right now to show you where it's coming from, and it doesn't look like a whole lot on the radar right there, but that storm system moves across the Four Corners and the Southern Plains and eventually lifts into our area as we head into Wednesday, bringing some accumulating snow. snowfall. More on that coming up in the next half hour. In the meantime, we're taking a look right now at our storm tracker maps for the rest of the afternoon, where I am expecting the chance for at least a few lingering light snow showers along the I-80 corridor, maybe some of our northeastern counties. Otherwise, it's going to be fairly quiet for the rest of the day today. Looking at a mostly cloudy sky overnight tonight and into the morning tomorrow, we'll have a partly sunny sky. I am expecting a really cold start to the day on Tuesday. In fact, here's a look at your low temperature tonight, falling all the way down to 22 degrees. The winds do turn lighter out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's a look at our forecast for tomorrow. If you're out walking your dog, you're going to need the heavy coat all day long because the high temperature, it's only climbing to about 33 degrees. You're reading that right. We are going to be socked into some cold weather over the next couple of days. High temperature in Greensburg about 35, Indiana only 33 degrees, and 33 degrees up in Butler. I mentioned that midweek storm system, and wow, is it going to be a whopper. It's going to be really impacting parts of central and eastern Pennsylvania, western Maryland, northern Virginia. We're talking some places could see in that region up to a foot or more of snowfall the way it's trending right now. Of course, we really have to watch the track of this system because if it changes any, we could be seeing a little bit more snowfall than what we're currently thinking, which I think could be some of the heaviest amounts in our eastern counties. Again, I will bring you a closer look at that coming up in the next half hour. 5-day forecast, your weekend always in view. Wednesday is going to be a cold day with highs only near freezing. Lows this week are going to be in the low to middle 20s. We'll get into Thursday. There could still be a few lingering snow showers around. 32 degrees there, 36 on Friday and mostly cloudy. And your weekend about 40 degrees on Saturday and 44 Sunday. So we are watching the temperatures climb a bit, but we'll bring in a chance for showers on Sunday. So maybe the pick day of the weekend to get outside would be Saturday. I'll see you back in the next half hour.
See you then. Thank you, Danielle. The pandemic has been a boon for grocery stores, the chains that have raked in the most money this year. And how a local college student is helping bars and restaurants, one download at a time. Aldi is joining a program that allows people on food assistance to get their groceries delivered. The chain is joining a pilot program allowing SNAP recipients to buy groceries online in a partnership with Instacart. Aldi is the 5th store to join. Delivery and driver fees and other charges, though, cannot be paid for with the SNAP benefits. When the pandemic hit, we turned to our grocery stores for all of our essentials, and new numbers show their profits soared 39% in the first half of the year. To break it down, Kroger's earning jumped to more than $2 billion in the first 2 quarters. Walmart's more than $15 billion. Amazon, which owns Whole Foods, saw a $17 billion profit, and Costco $2 billion. If you have any unwanted medications, there are a couple of drop boxes in Armstrong County. You can get rid of any prescriptions that you don't need anymore or those that have expired. One of the drop boxes is at the South Buffalo Township Municipal Building. If you live closer to the Cadogan Township Building, there's one there too. The boxes are in partnership with the Rite Aid Kids Cent program. All those concerts, festivals, and tours that have had to be canceled due to the pandemic are really having a devastating effect on the economy. A new Pollstar report out today says the pandemic has cost the live events industry $30 billion this year. Some performers were able to tour for a few months before everything got canceled in March. Elton John, Celine Dion, and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra grossed the most money in 2020. But it's not all bad news. The Pittsburgh Cultural Trust says Broadway will return to Pittsburgh next fall. With vaccine developments and some optimism in the industry, officials say the show Hadestown will hit the stage in September. And yes, Hamilton is still on. They haven't announced dates for other signature series yet. The Cultural Trust is looking at different outdoor and limited capacity options. Check your Christmas trees, the unwanted guest you might be bringing into your home. And the work being done right now to make sure people are willing to take the COVID vaccine. In the last 48 hours, Allegheny County reported more than 1,600 new COVID-19 cases. Those cases came from 5,100 tests. Most of those positive tests were taken in the last week, and the new cases range in age from 2 weeks to 100 years, and the median age range 45 years. There were 5 new deaths reported. Severe Weather Team 11 meteorologist Danielle Dozier joins us again. And Danielle, I understand we could see another blast of winter on Wednesday.
Yeah, Peggy, and this storm system looks to be bringing some accumulating snowfall to a good part of the area. Right now, it looks like the snow will begin to fall as soon as the afternoon on Wednesday, and travel will become slick because this will be an accumulating snowfall with high temperatures only near freezing. It's a low-pressure system that's going to be tracking to our south, and right now it looks to bring some really heavy snow to parts of Maryland as well as central Pennsylvania. We're talking some areas getting a foot or more of snow. If the track shifts a little bit, that could be a player in how much snow we see. Right now, it looks like some of our eastern counties will see the most snow. Of course, we'll keep you posted on just how much as we get a little bit closer. And I've got an idea that I want to share with you coming up in my full weather forecast. Just know that a winter storm watch does go into effect for the areas in blue starting at 7 a.m. on Wednesday. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
New COVID restrictions are only adding to the problems facing local bars and restaurants. Now a local college student is looking to help with a new app. Gabriel Thrower created Bar Spy. The app alerts you about specials and deals at restaurants and bars in the area. If you're an owner or an employee, you can post about your specials to help get the word out.
So my dad is a restaurant owner, so I see like firsthand how the pandemic has impacted his business specifically.
The app has been up and running now for a couple days, and Gabe says he's been calling restaurants himself to tell them about the app. Bar Spy is available on Apple, and it's going to launch on Android soon. If you need to go to the Westmoreland County Courthouse, you're going to need to make an appointment first. Starting today, it is closing to walk-ins following new state orders. County officials will still be working, so if you need help, you have to make an appointment and then you can go. This will be the case for the next 3 weeks. Court hearings will continue, but judges will conduct over the phone or via video conference. As health officials race to get a COVID-19 vaccine out to the country, some minority communities are still deciding whether to trust it. CNBC Business News correspondent Bertha Coombs has more.
Dr. Lou Edgy enrolled in the Moderna vaccine trial to inspire confidence in her patients.
I felt that I may be able to have an impact that had some credibility for the patients that I take care of every day who look just like me.
While she's gotten no official word, she thinks she got the actual vaccine.
Some of the side effects were a little bit more robust the second time around. So I try and tell them exactly what I went through.
It may be months before most people can be inoculated.
I'm in a study, so I'm not sure.
But community health groups like Grapevine Health in Washington, D.C. are already doing outreach in black communities hit hard by the virus. 71% of African Americans know someone who's been hospitalized or died from COVID, according to Pew Research. Yet vaccine skepticism runs high. Only 42% say they plan to be vaccinated.
They want to know that they are not being guinea pigs to a system that is rigged against them.
The major black medical groups and the 4 historically black medical schools have worked together to push government officials to prioritize access for communities of color most impacted by the virus.
We should not allow the dissemination of a life-saving vaccine to worsen health inequities. In fact, it should help to narrow them.
They've held informational town halls with government leaders like Dr. Anthony Fauci. And they're working with local community groups like the Neighborhood Resiliency Project in Pittsburgh, who can appeal from a place of trust.
50% of the neighborhood will need to go ahead and have the vaccine to be able to burn out the virus. So neighborhood by neighborhood, we'll really need to have every neighborhood get some immunity for us to have a global effect.
That was Bertha Coombs reporting. Health officials say in some ways the slow rollout of community vaccination could be a silver lining. It'll let people see how the first wave of those who are vaccinated react.
We just got kicked off the flight because our 2-year-old would not put on a mask.
You heard her right. Their 2-year-old didn't mask up. So that woman, her husband, and daughter were forced to get off their flight in Denver after it left the gate. The couple says this wasn't their first time traveling with their 2-year-old daughter during the pandemic. They always fly United Airlines, but this time was different. Their daughter was required to wear a mask during the flight, and as you saw in the video, they just couldn't get her to do it.
My goal was not to cause a scene. The harder I tried to put the mask on Adeline, the more she was screaming.
United requires everyone over the age of 2 to wear a mask. Similar guidelines are also in place at Delta and Southwest. United says the family's money was refunded and that they are welcome to fly with United again in the future. A local restaurant raided on Friday. Liquor control enforcement agents confiscated all the alcohol from Savoy, which is in the Strip District. According to paperwork, the restaurant was selling alcohol without a valid liquor license. The license was suspended this year because of an earlier violation. Savoy has been shut down twice for COVID-19 violations. We spoke with the owner, who told us he thinks he's being treated unfairly and hopes to work with officials to open back up. Police responding to a reported dog attack end up filing charges against the victim. According to the Trib, police were called to Motor Street in Sheridan. They say a woman entered a family member's home when a dog bit her. Police say she fought with officers and got blood on one of them and refused to wear a mask. Today, local activism groups are calling for an end to gun violence. If you look at the data, you might remember you might remember that on this day, 8 years ago, tragedy struck Sandy Hook Elementary School. Remembering Newtown, Healing in Action is a virtual forum. The groups putting it on include Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense, Ceasefire PA, and Squirrel Hill Stands Against Gun Violence. The Sandy Hook shooting killed 20 children and 6 educators. Since then, advocates successfully changed several federal and state gun laws. They say more needs to be done. The literacy world is remembering British spy novelist John le Carre, who passed away this weekend. Born David Cornwell, he worked for Britain's intelligence service before turning his experience into fiction. He was 89 years old.
I've got my husband, my 2 daughters, my dogs, and it's a lot, you know?
The creative heights one teacher is going to get her work done in peace. We have a spotted lanternfly warning for your Christmas decorations. Keep a close eye on your Christmas trees, your natural wreaths and garlands. The spotted lanternfly lays eggs on tree trunks and branches just before winter sets in. Experts say you should destroy it by scraping the eggs into a baggie with alcohol. A big grant will help replace old water lines in Kensington and Lower Borough that have been causing problems. The $148,000 grant will fix lines that are on Hill Street in Lower Borough and parts of Strawn Avenue and Boundary Way in New Kensington. The aging lines often break, leaving neighbors without service. The total cost of the project is about $400,000. Teachers and students around the country have been adapting to remote learning, and one of the biggest problems is finding your own space in which to work, and that's what led a Virginia teacher to a sky-high solution right in her own backyard. Nellie Williams moved her workspace into a treehouse. It includes a staircase, insulation, and internet connectivity. And Williams says that her new classroom is helping to keep her students interested.
A lot of parents said, I know my child talks about it at dinner.
First, Williams worked under an old tent in her backyard. That's when she got the idea to reclaim her daughter's old treehouse. Tempering expectations, the conversations parents can have with their kids now to save their holiday and maybe some cash.
And I mentioned that winter storm watch that'll go into effect early Wednesday for the areas in blue. Coming up, how much snow I think some of us could see across the area by the middle of the week.
Well, the holidays are upon us, and by the look of the delivery vans, people are swept up in the gift-giving frenzy. That can get expensive, but it doesn't have to be. NBC's Dan Sheneman has details.
'Tis the season for giving, and that often means spending more money than you had planned.
Families are planning on spending upwards of $550 this holiday season.
And that money doesn't include gifts for those outside your immediate family. The pressure to purchase the perfect gift doesn't mean it has to be pricey.
This is the time to spend on those things that matter, but also what matters to somebody else.
If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that time with loved ones is priceless. But that time with family doesn't have to break the bank.
You know, we all have this fantasy of what the holiday should look like, this sort of Norman Rockwell thing.
Sue Groner, the parenting mentor and author of Parenting with Sanity and Joy, says it's okay to set limits.
Talk to your kids and be upfront about, budget. And when you're asking them for a list, give them the parameters that you're comfortable with, and then when they give you the list, don't be judgmental about it.
Those expectations can also be extended outside the home. Set a firm price limit for presents, establish a no-gift rule, or, if you're so inclined, channel your inner Martha Stewart and gift something homemade.
Maybe the reality should simply be buying something heartfelt, because especially this year, it's harder to connect with people.
Now, more than ever, the thought really does count more than the cost. Dan Shenneman, NBC News.
Experts say this is the perfect year to resurrect the homemade coupon book for both kids and adults alike. If you didn't buy your Christmas tree yet, you might be out of luck. People showed up to tree farms earlier than ever this year, and they are selling out fast. And because of demand, prices are up. Last year, an average tree was $77. This year, it's about $81. Experts say sellers didn't expect this kind of demand, so they didn't order extra. For the first time ever, Petco will offer same-day delivery of pet supplies to customers nationwide. The pet supply service store is partnering with DoorDash. Petco says there won't be a delivery fee as long as the order is over $35. Orders placed before 2 p.m. local time will be eligible for same-day service.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Well, I hope you've had a great Monday. It's a cold and a gloomy day yet again. Can't shake the clouds. It's typical this time of year, though, in our area. It's 36, but it feels like only 26 because the winds are starting to ramp up as expected. Those sustained winds could be up to 20, gusting to 25 miles per hour today. Temperature is 34 in the Greensburg area. It's 36 in Beaver and in Washington. So we're going to need to layer up or at least have a big coat on before we head out the door. Wind chill in Washington is 30, but the feels like in Greensburg is 26, of course, depending on how strong the wind is in your specific area at this moment. Storm tracker maps show this afternoon could be a few lingering light snow showers, especially along the I-80 corridor and our northeastern counties. Otherwise, it's mostly cloudy. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight, and it's going to be a cold night with lows falling down into the low to middle 20s. Check out the forecast for your morning planner. About 23 degrees at 7 o'clock, and as the sun comes up, we'll start to warm temperatures just a little bit, but Tuesday is going to be a downright cold day with high temperatures only climbing into the lower 30s. I guess the good news is if you look at the glass half full, the winds will be a little bit lighter at right around 5 to 10 miles per hour versus where they're going to be at today. Overall, it'll be a partly sunny sky for us, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of sunshine on Tuesday. I mentioned the Wednesday storm system a couple of times, just getting you prepared if you do have any outdoor plans on Wednesday, just to know that we will expect that accumulating snowfall. Right now it is trending in our eastern counties to see the most, although I do expect some inches of snow here in the Pittsburgh region and across the rest of our area. However, monitoring Indiana, Westmoreland, and Fayette counties for the potential biggest snow impacts as of right now on the current track. Now, I actually am leaning closer to this particular weather model in terms of snow amounts, so I wanted to choose to show this to you today, but this is not a concrete forecast, so I urge you to keep checking back because I'm actually going to be putting out my snowfall forecast on the noon show tomorrow of exactly what I think is going to happen. But this one particular weather model will at least give you an idea why we have the winter storm watches that will be posted starting at 7 a.m. Wednesday for Indiana counties and the ridges, because you can see that darker shaded blue color. That's about 6 inches or more of snowfall. The current track of this weather system puts some of the really high snow totals. We're talking a foot or more in parts of Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, that is, where you see that deeper purple shaded color on your screen. So right now about 2 to 3 inches, the expected snow total in the Pittsburgh area. But of course, that could change. So again, keep checking back. back. Tuesday, the high is only 33, freezing on Wednesday, a set of 30s on the board as we head into the rest of the week. Thursday could bring a few lingering snow showers. Friday looks dry, and your weekend, the pick day is Saturday, albeit a little cooler at 40, but Sunday I am expecting more rain to move in, and it actually could be a little bit of a rain-snow mix early in the morning before shifting to some scattered showers.
This year, fewer Pennsylvanians have applied for the state's home heating assistance program, but the need is still there. As of Wednesday, close to 230,000 people sought assistance with heating bills through the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. That's $20,000 less than in 2019. The state accepts applications through April. Cash benefits can range from $200 to $1,000. Officials say the weather has been fairly mild so far, and that may be the reason for the difference.
He's just a sweet man that gives a darn about other folks who don't have nothing.
Now an Air Force vet is taking matters into his own hands, literally, to help strangers. Now here's local steals and deals, Lisa Robertson.
Hey guys, have you ever noticed that when we're all spending more time at home, there's a lot more cleaning to do, right? You're like, who in the world snuck in this house and messed it up again? I just cleaned it. This is going to be two of the best friends you ever had, two fabulous vacuum cleaners from Caloric. Now, Caloric is a Belgian company, so they've been around for 90 years. They have amazing quality. These two vacuums are going to be amazing. Number one, I love the robot vacuum. This little vacuum vacuums for you while you sit on the couch. Literally. Or, hey, I'm going to go out for a walk, and the robot vacuum is going to vacuum my house for me. It has a fall sensor, so it won't fall off a step or anything. It actually has 4 different modes. It's remote control. It's bagless. It has these great brushes on it, so it gets in the corners with little dust bunnies and the pet hair and all that kind of good stuff. So I love that robot vac. And P.S., and by the way, wait till you see the value on that, because that's going to make it even better. Then, if you're anything like me and you're saying, wait a minute, I swear, I just vacuumed that. Why do I have to go vacuum that again? I vacuumed that like 5 times today. And now you're realizing, wow, my vacuum's heavy, my vacuum's awkward, my vacuum's a pain. This is like the super ninja of handheld vacuum cleaners. It's lightweight, it's powerful, it has a couple different speeds, has great attachments. You can even use it as a stick vac on the floor, and it is going to be a lifesaver, because even if you have pets and you have kids and you're vacuuming the same thing 5 different times in a day, which I found I'm doing sometimes, this is so lightweight, it's gonna make your life so much easier. And it's not really super loud. Listen to this. It actually kind of sounds like a jet plane. So this is going to be one of the vacuums. This is going to be the other vacuum right now on localsteals.com. They're 25 to 30% off. It is the next best thing to having someone clean your house for you. And I guarantee you're going to be on the couch loving your life.
A 93-year-old veteran is using his handyman skills to give back to the community. John Hobson has been whittling walking sticks and then selling them. When he isn't in his shop, he can be seen in his front yard selling his handcrafted sticks to those passing by. Each stick sells for $3, but he doesn't keep the cash. The Air Force vet is giving the proceeds to the local food pantry.
He's just a sweet man that gives a darn about other folks who don't have nothing.
So far, Hobson has whittled about 100 sticks. Hobson has raised more than $600 for the food pantry. Pretty. For 15 years, these Christmas lights have been delighting folks in Westmoreland County. The Harf family decorates their house on Bernice Drive in North Huntington with thousands of lights, and then they set the light show to music.
Just something great that in these rough times that people can really come and see and do something that you know, get out of the house and enjoy themselves a little bit.
The family says they just love spreading the Christmas cheer. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast comes up tonight at 5. Until then, you can get breaking news updates anytime on our streaming apps. Just search WPXI on Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire. Have a great day.